Chapter 1. The Prophecy. Before Greece had its glory, before Rome had its legends, the greatest empire the world had ever seen was born in the mountains and deserts of Persia, and it began with your dream. The king of the Medes, the most powerful ruler in all of Asia, had a dream. He dreamed that from his daughter's womb grew a great vine, and its branches covered all of Asia. His priests told him a child would be born who would one day destroy his kingdom. Astyages had his own daughter Mandane married off to a minor Persian nobleman to keep you away from power. But when you were born, fear drove him further. He ordered his general Harpagus to take you into the mountains and leave you to die. Harpagus could not do it. He gave you to a shepherd named Mithridates and his wife. You were named Cyrus. Chapter 2. The Prince in Disguise. You grew up believing you were a shepherd's son, but even as a boy, something was different about you. You were a natural leader, a boy who organized the other children as if you were already a king. When you were 10, you were brought before a Median nobleman who punished you for insubordination. When Astyages heard how the shepherd's son had behaved with the authority of a king, he summoned you. One look at your face and he knew this was his own blood. This was the grandson he had tried to kill. Astyages could not kill you a second time. His generals warned him against it. Instead, he sent you back to your true parents in Persia, and it was there that you learned who you really were, a prince, the rightful heir of Anshan and the future of your people. Chapter 3. The Rise of Persia. In 559 BC, you became king of Anshan, a small Persian kingdom under the dominance of the Medes. You were approximately 30 years old. From your first day as king, you trained, you organized, you listened to your people. You built the finest cavalry the world had ever seen. You were preparing for something much bigger than any king before you had dared to dream. Then, an extraordinary thing happened. Harpagus, the very general who was ordered to kill you as a baby decades ago, sent a secret message, hidden inside a gutted rabbit. The message said, "Rebel. I will deliver the entire Median army to your side." His own generals were ready to betray Astyages. The trap was set. You marched on Media. The Median army rode out to meet you and then stopped. Unit by unit, regiment by regiment, they crossed over to your side. Harpagus had done his work. King Astyages was captured. His own generals had handed him to his own grandson. You walked into Ecbatana without a single wall being breached. Chapter 4. Daily Life of a King. Every morning, before your generals had eaten, before your court had assembled, you were at the fire altar. You were a devout Zoroastrian. You believed in Ahura Mazda, the Lord of Wisdom, the force of truth and light in the universe. Your first act every single day was prayer. You governed unlike any king before you. You refused to appoint only Persians to positions of power. Your court had Medes, Babylonians, Elamites, Lydians, all serving as governors and advisors. You told your people, treat the subjects of this empire as your own children. You were not their master, you were their father. You ate simply. The Greek historian Xenophon wrote that while your table was the most lavish in the world, with dishes sent from every corner of your empire, you ate only barley bread and watercress. You gave everything else away. Every dish from your table went to your soldiers, your officials, your friends as gifts. Your table was how you maintained loyalty. Chapter 5. The Conquest of Lydia. To the west lay Lydia, ruled by Croesus, a king so wealthy that rich as Croesus became a saying that survives to this day. He controlled the gold-flowing Pactolus River. He had consulted the oracle at Delphi, who told him, if you cross the river Halys and attack Persia, a great empire will be destroyed. Croesus thought the empire was yours. He was wrong. When Croesus marched his army, including Greek mercenaries and cavalry, to meet you on the plain of Thymbra, you faced a crisis. The Lydian cavalry was legendary, but you had learned something. Horses are terrified of camels. You placed your baggage camels at the front of your formation. The Lydian horses smelled the camels and went berserk. Sardis fell. Croesus was captured, brought before you, and prepared to die. But you did not execute him. You made Croesus your advisor. When asked why you showed such mercy to a defeated enemy who had attacked you without cause, you said, I saw myself in him. Any king can fall. Chapter 6. The Fall of Babylon. Babylon, the greatest city the world had ever built. Its walls were 85 feet thick and 320 feet tall, wide enough for 2 chariots to pass each other on top. It had the Hanging Gardens, the Ishtar Gate, the Tower of Babel. The Euphrates River flowed through its center. It had never been taken by force, ever. You did not attack the walls. You studied Babylon's only weakness, the Euphrates River that flowed through it. You built a massive network of canals, and on the night of a great Babylonian festival, when the city was drunk and celebrating, you diverted the river. The water level dropped. Your soldiers walked under the bronze river gates on the dry riverbed, straight into the heart of the city. Inside Babylon, King Nabonidus was absent. The city was in the middle of a great festival for the god Marduk. The Babylonians, who despised Nabonidus for neglecting their gods, simply didn't fight. Ancient inscriptions record that you entered Babylon in peace amidst joy and jubilation. The city of 1,000 years fell in a single night, without a single wall being breached. The next morning, you issued a decree, inscribed on a baked clay cylinder in Akkadian cuneiform. You returned all the gods to their temples. You freed all slaves. You allowed all captive peoples to return to their homelands. You declared, no one in this empire will be enslaved. No one will be forced to worship against their will. This cylinder, still existing today in the British Museum, is the world's first declaration of human rights. Chapter 7. Freeing the Jewish people. Among the captive peoples in Babylon were 40,000 Jews, held in exile for nearly 50 years since Nebuchadnezzar had destroyed Jerusalem and the temple. You not only freed them, you gave them back their sacred temple treasures that Nebuchadnezzar had seized. You paid for their journey home. You commissioned the rebuilding of the temple in Jerusalem. The Jewish people called you Mashiach, the Anointed One. You are the only non-Jewish figure in the Bible called the Messiah. In the book of Isaiah, written before you were even born, the prophet writes the name Cyrus, predicting a king who would free God's people. The Hebrew scripture calls you my shepherd, my anointed one, the one who will rebuild Jerusalem. You are the only foreign king in all of scripture described as chosen by the God of Israel. No man before or since has been so honored by a people whose God you did not worship. Chapter 8. The Final Battle and the Death of a Father. In the last years of your reign, you turned your attention to the northeast, to wild steppes beyond the Araxes River, where the Masagetai nomads lived, ruled by their warrior queen, Tomyris. You first sent an envoy proposing marriage. She rejected you coldly. You then built a bridge of boats across the Araxes. She sent you a message: come across if you wish. We will meet you in our territory, and you can find what you are looking for. You crossed. You used a trick first. You set up a false camp filled with wine and food and retreated, luring Tomyris' son, Spargapaces, and a third of her army into the camp. They feasted and got drunk. Then your Persians attacked and slaughtered them. Spargapaces was taken prisoner. When he sobered, he begged for his bonds to be removed and then killed himself. When Tomyris heard, she sent you the most chilling message in ancient history: you have had your fill of blood. Now I will give you your fill of it. The two armies met on the open steppe. Tomyris had chosen the battlefield. She had chosen the moment. The Masagetai fought unlike any enemy you had ever faced, on horseback from every direction, using the endless steppe itself as a weapon. The battle was the bloodiest of your life, and at its end, you, the greatest king the world had ever known, were dead. You were approximately 60 years old. Chapter 9. The Legacy of the Father of Nations. Your body was brought back to Pasargadae, your beloved garden capital. They built you a tomb of white limestone on a 6-step platform, like a mountain rising from the Persian plain. Inside, a golden coffin, your royal cloak, your weapons, your jewels. On the tomb, these words were inscribed: O man, I am Cyrus, son of Cambyses, who founded the Persian Empire. Do not begrudge me this monument. The tomb still stands today. You created the world's first superpower. Your empire stretched from the Aegean Sea to the Indus River, 2.1 million square miles. You created the first postal service, the first declaration of human rights. You ended slavery across your empire. You allowed every nation to worship their own gods. Thomas Jefferson studied your biography. David Ben-Gurion called you a hero. The United Nations has a replica of the Cyrus cylinder in its lobby as a symbol of what leadership can be. Not domination, not fear, tolerance, justice, fatherhood. You were called the great. You were called Father. You were called the Shepherd of Nations. You were the only foreign king in the Bible called the Messiah. The Persian people called you Baba, simply, humbly, Dad. No king before you, and perhaps none since, has been so loved by so many people, so different from one another. This was your life. This was the life of Cyrus the Great.